Hi, have a ball writing your first novel. I'm Gina Greenlee, and this is week 4, session 3, also called Writing in Bed. Last week, I asked you to notice your rhythms of playing with your novel. Notice your rhythms of specifically when you brainstorm with yourself in your sandboxes. How long are you there? When you chunk and plunk content from your individual sandboxes into your 32 chapters, and then you print out the chapters and you start moving these proverbial puzzle pieces around to find your plot. Are you doing this for an hour, two, more? Do you do this for one session and then take a break? Do you do this on your lunch hour if you are working a traditional job? Do you do this before work, after your kids go to sleep in the morning, before your children and your partner wake up? In also noticing your rhythms, when have you noticed that you are most energetic? How does playing with your novel change at different times throughout the day, different days of the week? Perhaps, if you're working a traditional job, call it Monday through Friday, your rhythm likely changes on the weekends from during the week. How has that changed the rhythm with which you play with your novel? Do you feel more productive after physical activity? When we talked about engaging trance states and play, riding bikes, walking, hula hooping, dancing, do you find that you're more productive, more open in your writing and how you play with your novel after you have been in your body? These are just some of the questions I pose to you as you reflect on as you reflect on the prompt from last week, on what your rhythm of playing with your novel is. I want to talk about rhythm, and I want to talk about writing in bed because that's really where I do most of my writing. Because part of keeping this process fun is not burning yourself out. And so that means working with your the natural rhythms of your mind, body, and spirit. Working with Some of us are night owls. Some of us are great early in the morning. I've heard myriad stories going back centuries of writers who get up at 4 o'clock in the morning before sunrise and work. That's not me. I do tend to be more of a night owl. It's very common for me to be writing 2, 3, 4 in the morning. But that's not the only time I write. Uh, so that's one time, and I have other rhythms where I write upon uh, getting up after sleeping, whether that's a full night's sleep or whether that's a 90-minute nap or a 3-hour nap. So fun includes doing what feels comfortable for you, what feels natural for you, and not yoking yourself into some kind of rhythm that doesn't fit you. I spent 20 years in the corporate world wearing silk suits, itchy pantyhose, high heels, and in a carpeted cubicle. And while I did a lot of writing in those 2 decades, I can absolutely tell you it was not it was I wrote well, but I write better now when I can honor my natural rhythms. And that includes wearing next to nothing or wearing comfortable clothes, sweats or a t-shirt, what I'm wearing now. So having a ball writing your first novel is about honoring what feels comfortable in your body, in your mind, and in that intangible energy that is your spirit, your aura, okay, your vibe, whatever word works for you. So take breaks, please. If you're having a ball, and find yourself at the computer for 3 hours, I dare say it's time to get up and move your body. Go outside, get some air, or if the weather is brutal. I spent 15 years in snowy, deep, dark snow, New England. Now I live in hot and steamy Florida. So if the weather is brutal, change your geography by going to a different part of your house, okay? Get up from the computer and go someplace else. Or if you're like me and you write in the bedroom, get up and go to the kitchen or go to the computer. Put some music on, dance, stretch. Now would be a good time to move those boxes from your bedroom to storage. I don't like doing that kind of stuff, but boy, when I've been zoned out in my book for 90 minutes or a couple of hours, whoo, it's great to go in and start playing with those boxes that felt like work, but now are actually a nice psychic break and change of rhythm and change of geography from my writing, because you really do have to give your primary tool, which is your mind, a rest when you write, when you are writing a novel. Even if you don't go outside, again, you can still change your geography by stepping away from the manuscript, and specifically stepping away from the area where you work on your manuscript, wherever that happens to be for you. I also change my geography if the weather is such, and it's mostly very palatable down here in Florida. It can get very brutal in the summertime, but my favorite is to go for a walk, to go for a scooter ride. Ooh, I have a 49cc scooter, Honda Metropolitan. I say it has the heart of a bicycle and the soul of a lawnmower. Because, the thing only goes 35 miles an hour, but I actually have 15,000 miles on it. And it's so much fun. Yeah, the adult, I get asked a lot of adult questions. What's the gas mileage? It's 100 miles to the gallon. Okay, so I can go 100 miles on $3.50. But most importantly, I get on this scooter thing. I call it the magic scooter because I mean, I'm just cruising, I'm trancing out. It is so much fun. So I like going for walks, scooter rides, put on soothing music, and I play with modeling clay. I mean, this doesn't have to be here's modeling clay. It's the color of my shirt. Obviously, I like pink. you know, here's some other colors. You don't have to make anything. You don't have to, there's no goal. You just squish it, you put on some soothing music, and like you trance out and you sit on the floor or whatever. Okay, so that's another thing that I like to do. We talk a lot, we use the metaphor of sandboxing here. I do, because I live in Florida, I do live 10 minutes from the beach. However, I play in the sand without going to the beach sometimes. Check this out. Sand tray. Here, I'm going to put the camera down here so you can see the sand tray. Check it out. Woo! Now, I didn't get this from the beach. Okay, I don't roll like that. I don't mess with Mother Nature's stuff. I bought this at the dollar store, and the tray at the dollar store. So that's $1, $2, and then I got these nice little glass beads at the dollar store, $3. And I just, you might have seen those Zen gardens and things that you can buy for, I don't know, $25, $3. And you could just make your little patterns in here. Woo, you can really blitz out. And it's a great break. Your novel will probably attempt to talk to you during that time period. Um, and that's okay. You just have your notebooks and you just jot down what it says and you go back to taking your break. So take breaks. What are your um, what are your most productive times? All right. I tend to be a night owl, as I mentioned before. However, I'm really at my best after I get up from sleeping, and for two reasons. One, I'm in that transitional state between, I'm still in that kind of dreamland, in that state between sleep and consciousness. We call going into and out of it, they're called the hypnagogic and the hypnopompic states. And so I really like working, even if I take a nap and, I go to bed at 1 o'clock in the afternoon and I wake up at 2:30, whoo, I can really have a great writing session, for 90 minutes to 3 hours after that, because I'm just, not only am I coming out of that trance and a lot has happened in my subconscious, but I'm also very rested. And you do need a lot of brain energy when you're actually crafting your writing. So, uh, you want to take some breaks. You want to notice what your most productive times are. They're going to be different from mine. They're going to be different from Stephen King's. They're going to be different from J.K. Rowling's. And you want to access those most productive times as much as possible. Write where you feel most comfortable. I discovered that I feel most comfortable in bed. I absolutely do. I'm wearing next to nothing. I've got a warm, fuzzy blankie nuzzling me. My head, neck, and back are propped up with four pillows. It's wonderful. And no, I actually don't fall asleep. I actually found there was a formula. If I only had two pillows, I did fall asleep because I was really reclined. It was almost like lying down. So four pillows, it's almost like you're really upright and they're firm pillows, so it's like sitting in a chair. But uh it's so you're sitting up in a chair so you don't fall asleep as easily, but you're more relaxed than sitting in a chair because you have all that nice, warm, marshmallowy support on your head, neck, your back, your spine. It's wonderful. So you don't have to expend any energy supporting yourself. You're just literally being cradled. So I'm simply relaxed. I trance out and the novel flows. That it likes to talk to me in bed. I do get up at my computer and transcribe because it also tells me, okay, you want to plunk this over here, because what I'm writing in bed is not necessarily a coherent, whole. It might be parts that go into other parts in the novel, and I get up and go to my computer. And so when I get up and go to my computer, I'm changing my geography from where I actually do my writing. And then when I go back to my bed, I'm changing my geography of my computer. So that's a rhythm that works for me. Find yours. That's all I'm saying. Find the rhythm, the one that is most comforting to your mind, body, and spirit. That will go a long way to making this journey of writing your first novel the most fun. I have two more sessions for you, and we're going to get to them right now. Hey, but in the meantime, I have something for you.